Hello YouTube, this is Skating for Satori, and today I'm going to share with you my middle-aged skate dad ace truck setup with Bones Bushings. I have to preface this by stating, as I do in all my videos, that the opinions shared are that of a middle-aged skateboarder who started riding the skate park at the age of 42, and that this setup is for bull riding and carving, and at least not for me, not set up for street tech or vert. My assumption is that it will probably work, but I haven't had a chance to test it in that type of riding, so I can't share with you how the trucks will turn in each of those. Also, this video and commentary are completely unpaid and unsolicited by Ace Trucks or Bones Bushings. And my other caveat is that everyone's preferences, riding style, and setup that works for them is unique and is going to be different from person to person. So keep in mind, this is just one perspective being shared. And so what might work for me may not work for you, and vice versa. When my son's skateboarding journey started and he found that old skateboard in the garage, it had independent trucks with the orange bushings. At that time, I thought that bushings were all the same, and I had no idea that there were so many bushing brands, types, and durometers to tune up or customize your skateboard. I was introduced to Bones Bushings when the bushing from the 25-year-old truck had dried out, cracked, and eventually fell apart. When we went to the local skate shop for a bushing, I was expecting a 50-cent part. But they recommended Bones Bushings, and when they rang up the purchase, I found out that they cost $10. So after experiencing sticker shock, but installing them, I realized why they cost this much. The board instantly felt better with more stability and better turning, even when riding on the flat and turning and carving down the sidewalk with my then 4-year-old hanging 10 off the front. Some people have stated that I have to be patient and ride the Ace stock bushings, which will wear in after 2-3 weeks. And over the years, I have indeed tried to ride the trucks with the stock bushings for a couple of weeks, but I still didn't like the lack of responsiveness and consistency of the turn. So the conclusion that I reached is that Ace trucks with the Bones Bushings seem to work the best for me. Does it mean that this is the best, or they are the best, or this is the best setup? No. But it's what works best for me and provides me a very predictable and smooth turn. In the foreground here is my old Ace truck that I have on my Anti-Hero 9-inch orange board. And when I saw that Skate Warehouse had the previous gen Ace 55s on sale that you see in the back there for $16 each, I decided to pick up a new set because I figured that in a couple of weeks the axle might start showing through. So I have this grind groove here, and I think it's just a matter of time before the axle starts showing through here. The other thing too is that with this groove here, it has a tendency to cone this wheel on when you're doing 50-50 grinds. So to share with you how I prepare my trucks, I set it up with a medium Bones bushing on the bottom and a Bones soft bushing on top. I used to ride soft bushings on both the top and the bottom, but notice that the area where the bushing and the grommet meet would start to separate after a few weeks. So this would start to separate right here. I experimented with 3 Bones Bushings types. There's soft and medium. So soft is usually blue, and then medium is usually yellow, and then hard is usually black. And I tried them in various top and bottom settings, but ultimately I found that this current setup works best for me. This allows me to ride a loose truck, but have the stability of a medium bushing on the bottom, and then also prevents the bottom bushing from blowing out as it did previously. One point that people tend to bring up is that by changing the bushings, it will change the geometry of how the trucks turn. But from my perspective, that is the exact reason why I changed to Bones Bushings, to change the way the trucks turn. Further, some claim that by doing so, it will make the pivot cups wear out prematurely. However, as you can see here, the height of the bushings between the stock Ace and Bones is nearly the same. Also, you can see here that the pivot cup that came with my old truck is still original and in good shape. And this is on a truck that I've ridden 4 to 6 times a week over the last 2 years. So when I get a new set of Ace trucks, what I do is I take the truck apart and then I invert the top washer and place it on the bottom. This I notice will keep the bottom bushing stable and prevent the grommet and bushing from separating. The bigger medium bushing is placed on the bottom, then the soft one on top. The washer provided by Bones is inserted before securing the kingpin nut. In this next clip, let me demonstrate to you what I do so that you have a visual of what the process looks like. Take the kingpin nut off. Take both of these off. I invert this. Then the Bones big medium bushing goes on the bottom. And then truck hanger goes back. The Bones soft goes on top. And then I use the washer provided by Bones and then put the kingpin nut back. And that is my Ace trick setup. One thing I've noticed is that after a while, the top bushing will start to tear apart from the grommet. For me, this tends to happen around 5 to 6 months of riding 4 to 6 times a week. So let me show you, like, it usually starts to happen like right here, between the grommet and the bushing here. One point to raise is that by doing this setup, it does raise the cost of the skateboard by $20 and changing out something that already the trucks come with. But for me, this is what I prefer to ride. And in the overall scheme of things, it's not an expensive endeavor to spend the $10 or $20, depending on whether I have to buy one set or two sets, to have a skateboard setup that for me turns predictably, turns well, versus not turning so well, and then I'm not confident on my board. So you may ask, how does it ride? And for me, I found that this setup works the best for me and for how and what I ride my skateboard for, which is primarily bowls. So when I'm in the bowls, my board feels stable when I'm riding the 55s with Bones Bushings, and my carving is consistent, responsive, and sharp. One thing to keep in mind, and to find what works for you, you might have to experiment a little bit with the various bushing durometers, and depending on what board you're riding, like say size, wheelbase, etc., what you're going to be riding, your truck width, maybe your personal riding style, and even maybe taking into consideration, your body size and weight. So on some of these Facebook groups, there's some big guys on these groups, like skate dads, that share that they're well over 6 foot and anywhere between 200 to 250 pounds. So those people may need to ride harder bushings and tighter trucks to get the same carvy turn. So I think that through experimentation, I hope that you'll find a setup that provides you with the stability and confidence when riding, so that you can keep having fun on your skateboard and keep riding with your children. And that's the best, man. Riding with my son has been a life-changing experience for me. So that being said, thank you very much for watching and allowing me to share my Ace truck setup with you. Thanks for watching.